Hey, good morning, you guys. How is everybody doing? Having a cup of coffee before I have to go to the doctor. I'm gonna let y'all start getting. I know I ain't been coming on here like I should, but good Lord, is it taking that long for the notifications to go? Y'all, I tell you. Hey, Tyranny. Hey, Shan. Hey, Clarinetta. Hey, Black Barbie. I decided to get on this morning before I go to the doctor. I didn't come on yesterday. Listen, y'all, I was not feeling good. And then my cousin's baby's mom. Remember I told you all I did a last year right before the fall oxygen and TV1, and I see now Disney. They're all the same now. And so they reached out to me. I didn't think it was for real. They reached out to me or whatever and was like, one of the producers, and was like, we did some research on you and we're coming to. They emailed me. Like I said, I didn't think it was real until the other producers started reaching out to me, right? And then they sent me it's like, we're gonna come to Memphis. We're doing a show on a like this cold case. The name of the show is A Time to Kill. And we always have males, but we would like a woman, mainly a lady of color. I was like, okay. They was like, we'll pay you. And at first they was, I told them, we talked, and they was like, well, can we film it in your studio? We'll pay you for that too. I was like, yeah, cool. But they ultimately decided to rent this mansion in Midtown. Okay. And me, Diane she drove from where she lived at, and she was there with me all night. I really appreciate that. And so anyways, I got to thinking about that. Steven said I ain't tapped in. I'm tapping back in though, because remember I told y'all my brain was like I was so focused on my schoolwork, and it's like after those finals and writing those reports and stuff, my brain kind of just like froze up, and I'm just honestly starting to get back to normal because I be so laser focused on making sure my grades are. I really want my grades to be an A average. I see that my theater grade, because I missed some assignments, I got a low B, but I got a high A in my legal class. Okay, because we had to take all the legal classes. And so I had to take my they start you off with I had to take a paralegal class. This summer I am taking African American literature. I cannot wait to take that. What is it? African American literature, and I got 2 more classes. I believe legal writing and another class I signed up for, because I'm just trying to go ahead and finish and get my degree. But anyways, I just happened to get on Facebook because I was kind of laying around. I wasn't feeling my best. And I'm starting to see, like, as I get on my healthy journey, like when I buy food out, my body just don't agree with it. It's like I start getting sick. So I just happened to log on Facebook, and my cousin's baby mama tagged me, and she was like, oh my God, I'm sitting here looking at Oxygen TV and you on here, girl. Oh my God. And I was like, really? Because I reached out to one of the producers, Probably about 2 weeks ago, and because they was supposed to pay me. They ain't send me my check. And so I reached out to her about that, and I was like, "When is the show going?" So, oh my God, we thought we had sent you the check, and um, she said, and it's something that you reached out to me. She said, I was actually going to get back with you anyways because we're coming back to Memphis. We're interested in a case in Memphis for another show on Oxygen, and we want to hire you again. Would you be a part of? I was like, hey, I emailed her back. I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, well, the show is going to air. We're looking at mid-May, and it aired yesterday. She didn't tell me exactly what day. Remember, I told y'all, she said it was mid-May, and there I was, on the show. There I was on the show. I was like, oh my goodness. The only thing I could think about is, Lord, I'm glad that I've lost quite a bit of that weight, but TV put 20 pounds on you. But people started. D-Mom reached out to me. Shout out to D-Mom. She texted me, and she was like, I'm sitting here getting ready for work, and I see you on Oxygen TV. That's way in Chicago. So then my cousin from California was like, I'm laying here on the couch, and he said, I'm laying here on the couch with my eyes closed, and I got it on Oxygen TV. He said, I'm dozing off. I opened my eyes because he said, I didn't see you. I heard you. I was like, that sound like my damn cousin. And he was like, I opened my eyes, and there you was. I said, I told you that Oxygen. He said Oxygen was trying to pay you 500 in one payment and 300 the last payment from a dude in a ski mask. A dude in a ski mask? Anyways, of course, my summer school classes start June the 1st. Listen, y'all, I've never been more excited about just finally finishing. Do y'all know when I started going to school? I started going to school. I remember I graduated high school, and I was like, I'm gonna take a year off, and then I'm gonna go into college. So I took a year off. So I didn't go to school right out afterwards. I took a year off, and then I enrolled in college. Y'all know that was many years ago, about 20 something. And then right after I enrolled in college, I got pregnant that same year. I got pregnant that same year, and I was really sick and stuff. But so after I had my baby, I took some time off. Of course, I didn't go right back because I was a new mother, but I always had a good support system. So I had my mom, my granddaddy, and them. So when, after my baby was about maybe a year, 2 years old, I was like, I'm going back to school. So I enrolled. It was hard. And as soon as I enrolled back in school when she was 2 years old, I messed around and got pregnant again. Because I remember my dad was like, Gal, I'm going to help you. Oh, that's oh yeah, Oxygen trying to pay me like they paid Cornelius. I'm telling you. Um. Anyways, so I got pregnant. I found I was pregnant with my second baby, and you know, then I just got every time I thought about going, it was just really hard. When you're raising those babies and stuff, and um, you really prioritize work, because before that I just kind of worked like I really didn't have a real job. I just kind of did what I wanted to do because I had my folks just kind of took, did whatever for me. And so I didn't want to be one of those mothers though, that just had my family taking care of me, and I just didn't want to. I just didn't want that. So I really had to give me a real job. And it just so happens it was at the Memphis Police Department, and that was by accident. It was just meant to be, though. That was just God forming the direction of my life. Because when I found out I was pregnant with my second baby, I was like, oh my God, my dad is gonna have a fit, because my dad was doing everything for me. He had gotten me a gas card. He was like, I'm gonna give you a gas card, gal, and that's for you to take the baby to the doctor, to go to, go back to school, but you only use the credit cards for gas. He was like, that's gonna help my credit, and you only use it for gas. I said, okay. And I was so scared. And when I told my mama, because my mother has always been one of those real quiet, unassuming people. So I was around there throwing up. So I had to tell my mama. I said, don't tell him, don't tell my daddy. And she told him. My sister was like, she told him as soon as she found out. And she didn't even say nothing. So I'm thinking my daddy didn't know. So my mom was like, well, I mean, your daddy was saying that he was getting ready to get you a job doing something. And she said, I told him, well, she's not going to be able to work that job because she's pregnant again. And she said, your dad was like, she what? And she said, I told him, just don't say nothing. Let her tell you. I didn't tell him nothing. My dad had to tell me. My baby was due in March. And every time I got ready to tell my daddy, I was like, oh, Lord, I can't say nothing. I don't know how to tell him. I don't know how to tell him I'm pregnant again. I don't know how to tell him. And so I remember I was going on 8 months. And my dad broke out and said to me, when are you going to have that baby? I was just in shock. I just started stuttering. He said, when are you going to have that baby? And I asked my mom, I said, did you tell him I was pregnant? No, I didn't tell him. I don't know how he know. Oh no. My sister had to tell me that she told it. Oprah knowing she's the mastermind behind T not getting. I think I don't know why, I know they crooks in the show business, child, but it ain't like they paying me a whole lot of money. I don't know why they didn't send me my check. I had forgotten about it. I thought about it when I thought about the show. Like, they took all my information before we left that mansion at night. Because I asked them, they was like, here, put all your information, your address. I said, I want to put my office address. No, we need your home address. Like, we need all of your information. And I remember they asked for my social security number. I said, what you need my social security number for? I said, would you take my EIN? No, we need your social security number. I gave them the wrong social security number, y'all. I gave them the wrong social security number. Y'all do know that it is illegal for people when they have to be looking up your information and stuff if you don't give them the rights to do it, right. I don't think it was nothing but like what, $800. I don't think they paid but like 800. It wasn't even 1,000. I think it was 800. Yeah, my mama told it. Oh, my mama told on me. My mama told on me. I couldn't believe my mama did that to me. And so, anyways, I went through all that to say it's been that many years. Now my children are adults. My oldest daughter, I think she can return 28. She might be already 28. I think she's 28. I think she be getting ready to turn 28. And my baby girl just turned 25. So I'm just more dedicated now because I feel like I've been I don't know who that is. I feel like I've been a mother. I've been mommying my whole life. Like, my kids were always first. I thank God for the support system I had, because if I had not had my mom, my grandmama, my daddy, and all of them, I would have been just like any other single mother out there struggling. God just didn't see fit for it. And I didn't have it easy. I just didn't struggle. And I thank God every day for that. But now I'm so dedicated. Like it was like when I was trying to go to school, when I was raising those girls, it was I just could I my focus, like my attention span was just not good. But now I am so laser focused, and when I be acing them classes, but I think I over stress my brain because I just want to make an A. Because I was looking at all of the law schools around the South, and I was like, Lord, the only law school, like I gotta get into Cecil Humphreys, which is in Memphis. I don't want to go to no law school in Arkansas. They don't really have good ratings. I'm not going to no law school in Mississippi. They don't have good ratings like that. The only other law school that in the South that I would consider going to, and I can't even do that because that's kind of too far away, would be Tuscaloosa, which is in Alabama. So that's the only law school that's got kind of really good ratings. Believe it or not, Cecil Humphreys Law School in Memphis is one of the best. So I just want it to be like easy breezy. Thus far, everything has been like real easy. When things are really easy for me, so that's Strickland School. Now maybe he'll be gone. Maybe he'll be gone, and maybe that's a good thing though. That Strickland is there now. Let me tell you why. Was a Strickland specialized in real estate law. That's the type of law that I plan on. I plan to have three specialties. I'm not getting into criminal law at all. Criminal lawyers don't make no money. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay, they broke. When I was in the private sector out there doing investigative work, I it was only a few attorneys that I really did work for. That was Leslie Ballin. I did some work for Steve because him and Steve Reese, because him and Leslie were connected. Um, there was a female black attorney who was my entertainment attorney that ended up getting into civil law. Um, she connected me to some, and which I always like that, to some family law attorneys that just always just sent their clients, because when you start dealing in family law, that's a lot of those white folks that's got money. They came to me and all of that. They would send them to me. But as far as a lot of criminal attorneys, and they broke. I'm telling you right now, they broke. Okay, they broke. Unless it's a like Leslie Ballin and all them, they pays and they got the money to pay. Okay, they got the money to pay. So that was always a good thing. And I would do some contracted work, with the government. So I don't know. I got wore out with that, just being pulled in all those. So that's how I know a lot of the criminal attorneys. But what I want to do is I really want to learn about real estate. I want to get into real estate law, um, entertainment law, which is business law, basically. And because of how my dad's wife did my sister and I, and my half sister, her daughters, I want to get into probate, mainly so that I can keep people keep people abreast of how things really are, because there are siblings that will steal your inheritance. They will do it. When there's a lot of money involved, people kind of, I don't care how they say they Christians, they some motherfucking thieves. Okay. Um, then had a nerve to be judgmental because they feel like they can hide behind God. And then, they'll try to say somebody like me, I'm the bad one because I'm outspoken. When the truth of the matter is, I've always been a very honest person. Listen, I'm the type. See, this I don't want no more or no less than what I deserve. Give me mine, you take yours, and leave me the hell alone. That's how I am. I'm really when it's I'm not gonna really sugarcoat nothing. And if I don't have to fool with you, especially if I don't want to, I'm not going to. But I'm not gonna try to get close to you so that I can cut you in your back. I'm not a snake or anything like that. I'm not. And I don't like people that play up under God and then they try to act like they perfect, but the whole time they ain't shit. Hold on, where my phone at? Okay. It says you might want to get your degree soon. Fujiano is back in custody after 2 weeks out. Why he back in custody? Why is Fujiano back in custody? Yeah, and I would say this to I would say this especially to men and women that have children that is not with your spouse. Do not make your spouse the what do you call it? The I don't it's right it was just right on the tip of my tongue. The person that controls the wheel, like the oh my god, I don't know why I can't think of it. The person that controls the wheel, like the person that oversees the wheel. Give it to a lawyer. Yeah, the power of attorney. Give it to a lawyer. Give a copy to all of your children. And you might want to give a copy to a family member, like one of your sisters or your dad or your mama, but make sure the lawyer has the will. And the lawyer is over the will, the executor. That's what it is, the executor. And but don't make your spouse that because they will do some weird stuff, like my stepmama did. She's sick and all, ain't totally health, totally almost depleted. Always supposed to have been a Christian. Ain't even got legs to stand on. She on toes. Okay, that's how messed up her health is. But they'll do dirty stuff. They rather go to hell. Okay, because if they got a jealous spirit and they feel like that oldest child ain't even none of mine, but my husband seemed to have favored her when my daddy just kind of, we all got different personalities. So he just kind of dealt with me differently. I spent more time with him because I ain't had no damn husband. So we had the same, me and my dad thought alike. We had the same interest and all of that. We had the same type of personality. Okay. But this we're gonna pray for that lady though, because I've gotten past it. I'm gonna tell you something. I remember my mama told me when because I had an insurance policy on my dad. I remember, and I remember my dad told me, well, with the type of job that I had, why don't you get a $500,000 policy on me? And I wouldn't do it. I was like, oh shoot, my dad's so fiery that my dad is so fiery, he gonna live forever. He'll outlive me. I ain't gonna get no $500,000 policy because I don't want to pay all that money. Okay, that's all it was about. And he was like, well, I'm not gonna let you get a burial policy on me. Um, so I got more. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, he had everything divided up equally amongst his children. And my stepmama and her daughters, they did some things. Thank you, Dwayne. They did some things, and I've basically gotten past that because I was more mad at what they did, and my sister, my other sister, who it was not her child. My sister was sick, and and some more, just they did that dirty, but them bitches gonna pay for that. Okay, I've gotten past it, but they gonna pay for that. And but the fact of the matter, I would never want a relationship. I don't consider them my sisters. I don't care nothing about them. I don't want nothing to do with them. And I'm not. I moved past it, but that you can't. You don't do me like that, and then think that because my auntie, my dad's sister was saying, those are your sisters, and I just hope at some point that y'all can. I said we can't do nothing, and I'm serious. We can't. I don't wish nothing ill on them, but they gonna pay. I feel like they already have because like right after they did that stuff, my dad's wife, her sister, she had both her sisters died in the same year, and then she had a niece to die unexpectedly. Okay, and she next. But we all next. Let's just say that, but I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I ain't speaking on myself or nobody else, but I'm telling you, you have to reap what you sow. I mean, I don't want it to happen to her, but if it happened to her, I don't care. See, I'm not fake. I'm one of those ones, I'm not fake. Okay. And so, but anyways, that's why I wanted to that's one of the reasons. Like it happens in black families and white families and every family all of the time, but it's mainly in black families that they want to take from they want to feel like that they mean more than the other children when people love their kids the same, right? So that's the reason why my dad had his policy out like that. His wife get 50%, and then the other 50% is divided amongst all of his children. My dad had a pretty big estate. So, I mean, we was going to, all of us, but what she did was she stole me and my sisters and gave them to her kids and her grandkids, and that old bat gonna pay for that. Okay. And them piss ass girls she got too. Okay. I remember, when I was talking to her, like right after my dad died. Now, my dad was a ladies' man. I don't know. This lady held all this bitterness inside. She should have had left my dad. She should have left him, but she liked the lifestyle. Okay. My dad did everything. Okay. He did everything. But he made the money to do everything. But my dad, I guess he did his little dirt. And I'm not excusing that. I feel like men should be faithful to their wives. But that lady should have left. But she didn't want to leave because she lived good. Okay. But so what she did was she became really bitter. And I remember like the day after my dad died, and I was still in shock. I was still in shock. And she busted out and said to me, and we was talking about my dad and stuff. And she said, but your daddy had to reap what he sowed. I said, what? Now, it's one thing if she say that to her daughters. Why would she say, me and my dad was very close. Why would she say that to me? Why would she say that to me? His grieving daughter. Lady, I'm not your daughter. So why would you say that to me? That's your husband. Okay. Her son-in-law is a computer person. maybe it's her, because maybe it's him. Okay. Um, he says life insurance policies used to be wealth building things for children. Right. White people and other communities do that all the time. That's how they create instant generational wealth in their families through life insurance policies. Don't go and get no damn $10,000 burial policy. You want to create some wealth, right? That's what you want to do. So that's why it is good to get insurance policies. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me or see my picture. If you can, just do a thumbs up. Okay. And so yeah, so I would recommend, okay, so I would recommend everybody get an insurance policy. Don't let one child have the, you know how they said, well, you working, and so what I want to do is I want to go and get the power of attorney, be the conservative, get a conservatorship, a mama, a daddy. Don't do that, because when they get conservatorship, they can then change those policies, because they got like the power of attorney. So they'll change the policies, they'll change the will. People are greedy. I don't care how much they talk about they love God. Okay. Then they'll try to make you look bad. They'll go and hide into hiding like they did. Okay. But they can't hide from God, because they're going to pay for that. Right. So, anyways, yeah. So, but that's one of the reasons why I want to get into, just teaching, especially our community, about wills and probate. And it's just good to have a will. Also, if you got money in the bank, you need to put like a beneficiary on it at the bank, so that your children don't have to go through hell to get your money. Like if you got some money in the bank, so you already have like another person's name on it, if you only if you pass away. And that mainly would be your children, right? Because you want your kids to have that, or if, your spouse, or you could divide it in two or three ways: your husband or your wife and your children. Therefore, because if you got a wife and those kids ain't theirs, they ain't getting nothing. Okay. If you got women are real bad about that. A man, I see that only if the man wasn't for you, because a lot of women laid up with men that ain't want them for nothing but what they got anyways. Your kids ain't gonna get nothing. But most men, if they've been married to you for a long time, they're good men. They will give divide some things, but you don't want to take that chance with your children. A lot of these women are selfish and rotten. Okay, they selfish and rotten. They hold bitterness on the inside of them. Okay, and you just want to have everything already um put together. Get you a lawyer. Okay, and give the will to the lawyer, and give a copy to your children and a copy to other family members and stuff, that has a neutrality also, so that everybody would be left straight, right? I told my daughter's dad, you know, I told my daughter, I told both my daughters, I said, I want you to get insurance on me, get insurance on your dad, so that when we leave this earth, I told my daughters that, I said, I really want my girls to, like, when each one of us pass, I want the girls to have about $500,000 in insurance on each of us. That's how you create instant generational wealth, right? But black people, we want to go spending on rims, brag about walking around in $1,500 Giuseppe shoes, and you living from pillar to post. Okay, your house, the roof leaking. Okay, you want to brag about that. okay, instead of some real stuff, right? The reason why a lot of our community is left behind ain't got a damn thing at this point, not so much to do with the white folks. It's got a lot to do with our mentality too. So we got to change that. Because I be looking at white people in my neighborhood all the time, and they wealthy as they can be. They don't wear, they might go get some Nikes, but they mainly wear New Balance. I was looking at a man that live over here around me. He be out there running. He wear New Balance, and I know he's rich. I know he is. They wear New Balance because it's good for their feet when they run in them. They exercise. Okay. And okay, Cypress, and they exercise. They be up there at the market. Cypress, for some reason, it ain't coming up. Hold on. Oh Lord. I'm gonna, you know, Cypress, you already know I got to do a video on that. When I get off here, I got to do a video on that. I got to be at the doctor at 11. So I'm probably gonna have to come back on. But hold on, let me see. I'll be forgetting what time my damn doctor's appointments is. Let me see. Yes, Scooby strikes again. Scooby. Child. Anyways. But yeah, those are the types of things. And also, you can get insurance on your house. Like my grandmother had that when you pay extra a month, that if one of the, like if she had passed away or my granddad had passed away, the house instantly paid for. You get that type of insurance on your house too. Whereas if one of the people, when your spouse passed away, both your names on the house, one of them passed away, the house is instantly paid for. But you also get life insurance too, so that you can be okay. I don't understand this now. Now I do understand, like these people now when they're getting married to folks, because they got them BBLs and stuff, and then they get suspicious because she want to get a lot of insurance on them. You should be suspicious, right? But if you've been with somebody for a long time or whatever, and you've been married, it shouldn't be no reason why. Like even with your kids, you shouldn't be having to sell fish plates to put Junebug in the ground. Okay. The earlier you get the insurance policy, the cheaper it is, right? Like I started getting my girls insurance policies when they were very young. And so and they got whole life policies, not term life, but whole life. And I think for their policies, I pay $16, $17. Now, I ended up, and I had another policy on them. Then I, like last year, some stuff is going on with my daughter. There's an investigation going on. And it's been going on a long time. So you can only imagine what's going on with that. I really believe that it's some people that was on YouTube, but I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I did tell okay. So what ended up happening was I was like, I want to get some more insurance on myself, on my kids, on my mama. And my oldest daughter, who is only 27 years old at the time, she was 26. So my friend of mine do the policies and stuff. And so he was like, they denied your daughter. I was like, they denied her? Why? He was like, they denied your oldest daughter. And they was like, she got some medical conditions going on. So I freaked out. I called her. I was like, oh Lord, is this something going on with you? Are you sick? Like, you're not telling me? She's like, no, mama, what are you talking about? I said, I applied for some more insurance and they denied you because they say you got some medical conditions. I said, you don't have cancer or nothing, do you? She's like, no. And then I said, you ain't got that package, do you? You could tell me. You could always tell me everything. She said, Mama, no, I don't have the package. So I called him back. I was like, but she said she don't have anything. So he was like, well, there's a process we can go through and we can see exactly what it is that they're saying that is wrong. So it took like a couple weeks, and she had to prove who she was and all that. Y'all, somebody has gotten, and I believe her information was sold. I really believe, like I told the FBI, I believe, because it's being investigated. Y'all, they investigating shit like this heavily. And they somebody, her information was sold, and somebody, we know who it is now, has been but I don't know the people, has been getting cancer treatments when it got a health insurance card in her name, okay? Government health insurance in my child's name, and started getting cancer treatments. I ain't gonna lie. I when they came and talked to my daughter several times about this. When I tell you all, because I know what comes through our office, there is a hit on people that have been stealing health insurance. I don't know what it is about Trump, but he putting everybody in jail that's stealing health insurance. It's like he's got a hit on foreign doctors if they're overcharging TennCare. They had gotten a TennCare card in my child's name and was getting cancer treatments. Okay. And it's TennCare, especially TennCare, food stamps, but I don't know what it is. It's that TennCare though. It's that TennCare, and a lot of people, scammers, are stealing social security numbers and giving it to Hispanics. Okay, they're getting IDs in our name. I told the FBI. Okay, so anyways, it's funny because as I was so panicky and frantic about it, because I already know what's going on. Because I was like, my child does not have. I was talking more than my daughter was. Okay, and she grown. I was just so upset about it. It was ridiculous. But anyways, yeah. And here's the thing about that. Come to think about it. Y'all need to start checking on running your credit. You get a free credit. Check your credit every year. You get a free credit report. Now what happens is, when since I've been an investigator, because used to think that there was no real people that worked at the credit bureaus. So now you can reach out to like these credit bureaus like TransUnion and all of that, and talk to a real person to see if people are running your credit that should not be running your credit. Okay, and they could tell you exactly where it's coming from, and then that's federal. That's against federal law. Okay, make sure people don't have stuff in your name too, right? I just happened to use one of my systems one day. I was like, let me see what's going on. So I put my email address, and let me run my email address and see. I just want to run my email address, and somebody up in New York. Okay. Okay. Fraud is heavy. The only, Trump is crazy and all of that. The only thing that I can say about his administration is that he putting a hammer down on these petty frauders. Now would be the time to check your shit and get them federally charged. Because I'm telling you, this would be the time. Okay. It seemed like, I don't know what this investigation with my daughter, and they own it too. That's the reason why I know it's got to be a ring of people that have been, because they've identified the person that was getting cancer treatments in my child's name. which means they had to have an ID and everything. Okay. But now would be the time. I'm telling you. Now would be the time because they're not playing with them. Now, next week, I'm gonna have a and I ain't got nothing else to say about that other than now is the time. Make sure because you had from my understanding, there was people that was these girls now because anybody, any hood rat now can get a like a insurance license. And that's one of the reasons now they have new systems. These hood rats, okay, they use their license, and you can get their license taken, and they'll be federally charged to when they run your information to get your medical information, to just giving out your information, selling your information, and all of that stuff. Okay. Um, and even now with the type of systems that they have, that they're able to see who's running your information. That's why I say talk to your doctor to see about certain things, to see has anybody else tried to pull your information, because now the way things are set up, they can see who. Okay. Nobody in Florida, if you live way in Chicago, nobody in Florida has no business looking at your medical records, right? And then file a lawsuit, break the bank on them. Okay. And this is why so many people this is why the government has gotten is really gotten so strong on taking down people like this, because folks are filing lawsuits because it is against federal laws, right? Now is the time to get a bitch charged federally, and they're gonna do some time for real, and then you file a lawsuit. Okay. Now is the time. But next week, you guys, I'm going to have a doctor. He's an OBGYN on, and he's going to tell his story. Though this man was set up, and I'm gonna let him tell his story. And he's one of the top doctors in Memphis. Okay. And he what ended up happening was, I believe that he had a young lady to come and work into his practice, and he'll talk about I'll let him tell his whole story about what happened with that. And then the next thing he know, the feds came knocking at his door. Now, with this young lady, after this happened to him, he fired he fired her. After he fired her, the feds came knocking at his door. Now, he and his wife are both OBGYNs, okay? This lady was his office manager. She moves to Florida, starts working for another doctor. This man, the feds come knocking at this man's door, okay? Talking about he's stealing, okay? But also we're going to have him on to also talk about getting regular, because he's an oncologist too, right? Why getting checkups are important. Just a lot of stuff that we as women go through, the hormonal stuff. Hey, I always tell women, if you don't get a pap smear every year, you need to, and you really need to get your breast and stuff checked. You need to get colonoscopies. I know men don't like to get them, but they need to get them. It takes, I think they said 9 years. If you have a problem with your colon, colon cancer is one of those cancers that almost have 100% turnaround rate. It ain't turnaround, but I can't think of the word that I'm looking for right now. Remission rate. If you catch it in time, it takes 9 years for it to develop into cancer. But then once it does, it's aggressive. That's why it is important to get colonoscopies, right? It's good to just check on yourself. It's good to do that. It's good to check on yourself. Also, when we go to the doctor, the reason why women, when they have ovarian cancer, it seems like it's in its third stage when we find out about it, right? Is because when we go for our pap smears, they are only checking our cervix. There's a special test that they have to order to check for ovarian cancer, and then they take your blood and they go, "Oh, well, we didn't see anything wrong with your blood. It may not show up." So that's why it's good to ask your doctor. According to the test, is expensive. So that's why a lot of doctors will brush you off. That's why a lot of doctors will brush you off. Oh, well, you don't really. When you ask, I started asking, well, did you check me for ovarian cancer? Oh, well, your blood seems okay. No, no, you don't really need that test. You ask them, they'll let you know that when you take pap smears, it only checks for cervical cancer, not ovarian cancer. Those of you all that are nurses up in here know that. Okay. I'm reading my I'm off sick. I gotta go to the doctor, and they sending me cases and meetings. Um, Nola girl says my doctor just informed me that after 62, no more Pap smears required. I don't know if that's my insurance or standard. Matter of fact, I had to insist on my last one at 61 and was trying to cut off at six. I'm gonna tell you something, Nola girl. My auntie, my grandma's sister, we call her Aunt Sis. My grandmother's sister passed away of ovarian cancer, had never had cancer before at 78 years old. We that shocked us. At 78. So I think it's good for but it's probably the insurance. Now the insurance don't like to pay for nothing. The insurance don't like to pay for anything. The dental insurance is so bad now, it's ridiculous. I gotta have some braces, and you know how much I gotta pay? Because my bottom, I've been telling y'all about that bottom tooth for the longest. They make me take all these tests before they just give me my darn braces. So they really trying to break the bank on me. Oh, well, we need to make sure. Okay, so we gotta do a clean. I get a cleaning every 6 months. Well, we got to do a cleaning. Oh, okay. Well, we got to feed. You got to. Well, we got to do another feeling right here. Oh, okay. We need to do some X-rays. Oh, yeah. You got to have a feeling right there. We're not gonna be able to put the braces on this. So we got to go ahead and do another feeling. Look like it's another. It's always something going on. When all I want is my braces. I told my dentist. I said, by the time it's time that I said I got to pay $5,500 for some braces. What the insurance paying? I thought braces didn't cost for 5,000. So why I got to pay 5,500? What is the insurance gonna pay? Says my company insurance and ATL. suck. I never had insurance problems when I lived in Memphis. That is to keep on collecting them co-pays and doing everything they can to get the money until there's nothing left to do. But we know they just want the money from. They just want the money. I'm telling you. That's it. I told him that bottom tooth. I just want braces on the bottom. He said, but your teeth crooked up, your two front teeth up there crooked. I said, let me tell you something, sir. When I was a little girl, when my teeth grew in, they was crooked. I lost them. You know how you start losing teeth when you turn 6 and 7? And my mama said when I lost them, she said, well, when they grow back, they're gonna grow back right. Because when I was a baby, they grew in crooked. And when they came back, they was crooked. So that's the will of the Lord. I don't want them to be straightened up. I'm 40-some years old. Now I don't want to straighten up. I want that tooth on the bottom that's trying to be Diana Ross to be put back in place. Okay? That's down. I got a tooth on the bottom because I started having my tooth pulled in the back. And my doctor used to say to me, you want your teeth pulled. You want that tooth, your teeth are gonna start shifting. If I had issues with him, I wanted it out because I was like, can't nobody see back there. I wish I had listened to him. So he pulled them and they started shifting. Now, the very front on the bottom, they started shifting and it's starting to push forward. And I don't want it like that. I call that tooth Diana Ross trying to lead the Supremes. And she gonna get right back in line with the rest of them. Says any updates on Cornelius straight dropping Trayon Ingram? Cornelius goes to court, I believe Friday. Stephen, when does Cornelius go to court? He go to court this week. I think Cornelius goes to court this week. I think Cornelius goes to court either Thursday or Friday. Yeah, give me that orthodontist on Winchester. I think he goes either Thursday or Friday. I don't think they're gonna sentence him then. I'm gonna be honest with you. Cornelius is working. Okay, Cornelius, and here's the thing. I don't think he cares. I don't think he's telling on everybody that he grew up with. I don't believe that. I think it's just a certain few people that he telling on. And I don't think he care about how people feel about that. He's not trying to hide it. I think he's just, and he must be effective. They must be solving some stuff with Cornelius. They must be solving some stuff because they ain't sentenced him yet. Okay. Now, I know, they were saying that he's supposed to. I heard Hernandez Govan say this. He's supposed to testify in Trayon Ingram's trial or whatever, which is, I think that trial has been moved to like the fall or something like that. As far as Cornelius, he got to be being effective. They don't just when somebody is just saying stuff. But Cornelius, he been helping them to solve some stuff because they still have not It's going on 2 years. He was supposed to be sentenced about 2 months, 2 or 3 months after Straight Drop was sentenced, was found guilty. That's almost 2 years ago. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if he ain't telling. I don't mean no harm, but I wouldn't, because they've been very protective of him. They've been very protective. You have to watch how they move with certain people. And they've been very protective of um they've been very protective of Trayon. Yeah, they've been very protective of him too. So I wouldn't be surprised if um I wouldn't be surprised if he's not telling some things too. Black Barber says, and I would tell on these bees too. Left him out there as a target, and they was gonna kill him. This is y'all know them folks was bad. They was bad. I believe, and this is just what I believe. I believe in the beginning that they really the federal government really had, and still do, had a target on black youngster. Yeah, hold on. I don't know who this is. Okay, I'm back. Really had a target on youngster because he thought the level of fear that they was trying to spread, I think, put an urgency on the police and law enforcement to start just taking them down quickly. They was killing people, they was threatening people. I think they thought that they was going to use black youngster as the front person to do that. They was threatening vloggers, they was paying vloggers to find people, I guess, so that they could be killed. Um, just a whole lot of stuff that was going on that they had to hurry up and take control of. They had to hurry up and take control of. Because these group of people that did this to Young Dolph was pretty twisted. The level of what people would do for money, why vloggers would want to insert themselves in something like this, a case as big as this, for some money, I never understood. No, I'm just talking about getting involved and taking money from the killers. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Neo, I agree. But you don't hear them talk a lot about Trayon because you don't really know when he's going to court. They kind of keep all of that a secret. They keep all of that a secret for a reason. Why haven't they said who the other person was that was with Trayon? They only said that that person was on the run. Of course, they said that Anita's child, one of her children, said something like the other person was dead. Well, the police has told them not to say who it was. I heard it was straight driving. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard. So, I mean, you already heard Hernandez Govan and Devin Burns say when people said that it was teasy, they said he ain't had the guts to go and pop nobody. That was not who he was. Evidently, he didn't. He was not aware. Evidently, I mean, he must have had some naivety. A little bit of naivety, because why he would let them trick him over there? He still had a little trust in somebody. Maybe he thought because he had not told on Devin Burns or Straight Drop that going around them would be okay. And I'm not saying that's who called him over there. I'm just saying that, he didn't tell on Trula. Okay. But you saw Quick got Devin Burns to speak and say that he had some disdain for Teasy. He got him to say that. He put him on camera saying that. That's something that can't be taken back. He got him to admit it on camera. He put him on camera for him to say it. Okay? So he get killed over there about where all of them hang out at in a hood that they all hung out in. Ain't no ops gonna be hanging over there. That would be out of their territory, right? I ain't no street person, but I ain't no damn fool either. So it's pretty obvious that somebody that he was familiar with and had some type of trust in got him over there. No ops would have recognized Teasy. He wore the Pooh Shiesty mask. I was looking at some of his videos before he was taken out. He wore the Pooh Shiesty mask. He was in the girl's car. So what happened? I believe when he pulled up on whoever it was that he trusted, they immediately started popping at him, and then they chased him and was still popping at him until he ran into the back of their church. That's what happened. Okay. But that case will be solved pretty soon too, from my understanding. I don't know. I don't know what's going on because the person don't really talk to me about it no more. That's why I feel like it's definitely something gonna be going on. Because but I believe that Teasy and Jeremiah's case, if no other cases are solved, Teasy and Jeremiah's case will be I tried to get that person to say something about Big Juke's case, and it's funny because that was his precinct. That was his precinct. Juke's case and Jeremiah's case, his officers, those were that's his precinct that he's over. He's real firm though, he's real firm. But I mean, if he know about Teasy's case, and that's not his precinct. Yeah, that was his old precinct. He wasn't working over there. He wasn't over there precinct when Teasy was killed. I know he know about Juke's case. I can't really get him to say anything about Juke's case. I can't really get him to say a whole lot. I can't get him to say nothing. She said a pap smear, they changed it to 3 to 5 years. Child, I go every year. Your doctor will pay every year. Now they trying to change it 3 to 5? Oh, they wrong for that. They really want something to grow and be out of control. I'm going every year. It's coming up time right now, and I'm going. Especially when you start going through the change and your body starts changing and stuff. When you're in your 40s, you're in your late 40s and stuff, that's the time that our bodies start going through the changes, and it's very important, like hormonal stuff, like that causes those cysts to fluctuate and to grow. And I think that's very important. It's very important around those times. And I'm tell y'all something, like a lot of times people be waiting on talking about their insurance won't pay for none. Do you all know how much it costs out of your pocket for a pap smear? About $135. That's all. But the insurances don't want to pay nothing. So they change and they want you to be constantly paying. They be constantly going up. And then they don't want you to be able to go to the doctor to check on yourself. I'm really trying to sit here and think if he's ever told me, and I don't think he has. Hey, Braden, I like your name, Braden. I like that name, Braden. I've been sent like Braden, Caden. My nephew name is Caden. Um, Jaden, Jalen, Braylon. I know a stylist I used to have named her son Braylon, Braylen, Braylon. I always liked a name for a boy. I always liked Tori. I like the name Tori for a boy, but I had a lot of boy names. I like Tori, I like Justin, I like Christopher. Um, what else? But I was really sold on Toriano. I like that. Cristiano, I like that. Um, I had so many names of boys. Uh, although, I had said that my son would more than likely if would be a junior, depending on the name of my husband. Because if his name had been like George or something like that, he wasn't gonna be no damn junior. Shit. Alfred. I used to date this guy. I used to date this guy and I stopped dating his old ass too. He was older. He was quite a bit older than me. And I knew it was just something that clicked in my brain when he said it. Because I told him, I was like, I want to have more children, but I want to be married. By that time, that was a red flag anyways. He had already been married and divorced 3 times. He was older. He was quite a bit older than me, but he took care of a sister. Okay. He was really good to me. He was almost a little bit controlling because I was a younger woman. I was in my late 30s at that time. And I was like, I want to have some more children. I would tell y'all how old he was, but I ain't gonna say how old he was because y'all gonna laugh at me. And so I was like, I want to have some more children. I want to have a son, but I was like, I want to be married. I think I was almost thinking about settling with him because I wanted to have a son. And but I wanted to be married and all that. And then I said, so if we have a son, what should we name him? And I started thinking about. He said, I got a name. Now this how y'all gonna know he old. He said, I got a name. This is what I want my son name to be. I said, what? He said, Alfred. it's like it's something clicked in my brain. I was like, this old bitch got to go. I don't want him. I don't want him no more. I don't even want him no more. And I liked him too. I can't. I don't want no man that's talking about naming the damn child Alfred. I was like, he too old for me, anyways. That's when it clicked. I said, he too old because no young man would have ever said nothing like that. It's certain things that turns me off. Every time I would think about it, he was like, I mean, because I'm telling you, weekly, that $300 was, I mean, just do whatever I want to do weekly. But I had to pull away from it, and I liked him. I almost loved him. He was full of wisdom. He just was really he wanted me to be submissive. And I was like, I'm not gonna be submissive to a man that ain't my husband. I'm used to women being soft, and I said, I am soft. You feel me all the time. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like you real bullheaded. Like you need to be a little softer. And I said, I'm soft enough. You wouldn't be over here with me all this time if I wasn't. See, folks be wanting you to be stupid, and that's something I'm not. I was making my own money anyways. So so I'm not supposed to question you about nothing just because you give us $300 a week, okay? Or a little more when I wanted it. I liked him though. That's he was a good man. He really was. He was a good man, but he was older. He had already, he just it wasn't gonna work out. It wasn't gonna work out. Because I was still a younger woman. I wanted to have children. I don't really even think he wanted no more. And that's understandable. But I started thinking about I have two kids and I want to have a son. I want another child because I always wanted just some more children. I wanted 6 kids. And so anyways, I moved on and I liked him too. He's still pretty cool. He's still pretty cool. I think he's a little bit bitter because I'll talk to him from time to time. He seemed a little bitter. Um, but I wasn't gonna let him tie me down like that because he's lived his life and not let me pursue my stuff. I don't care what he owns. So, anyways, I moved on. Um I started talking to this guy, this rapper that didn't have any children. And I was like, he doesn't have any children. He always talked about having kids. And I was like, wow, I'm 30, like 38, 39 years old. And I bet he would be a great father. I'm telling you, like, these are the types of things that women go through, especially because when the doctors say you shouldn't have kids over 37, I was like, I'm already 2 years over that, and I don't have a husband. So I'm so glad that God was with me because most women are in situations because they started feeling like that time clock is ticking. I'm telling you. And so I was like, he would be a great father. And he used to always talk about that. And I was like, okay, I gotta feel him out, to see if he would be, if he would be serious about like having a family and all of that. I'm gonna wait it out. That didn't happen either. It just wasn't meant for me to have 6 children. It wasn't meant for me to have 6 kids because I was like, if I get married, I mean, and women, we have all this stuff going through our minds. I was like, dog, I'm 38, get ready to turn 39. Like if I got married, in order for me, I could at least have two more children. I was thinking, I was like, I could have two more children, or maybe I can get some fertility drugs and I can have twins. I could have two kids at once. Like all of that stuff was going through me. I think about that now. That was like tormenting because I was like, I know I want to do this with my career. My girls were like teenagers and stuff at the time. So I was like, I'm starting all over again, but at least I'll have like my either 4 to 6 kids. I've always just wanted to have a lot of children, but I didn't want to do it without a good man because I already messed up twice. Okay, I'm glad I'm proud of my girls. I'm glad I had them, but I ain't choose. I didn't pick. Well, my youngest daughter's dad, he probably, I think he was a good father. He was more patient. And I get to thinking about stuff now. I wasn't perfect either. I was a hell on wheels too. Um, I think about now like the way that I was really spoiled and the way that I talked to guys. It wasn't bad because I was a good person. It was just that I was very demanding because I was always just used to having what I wanted. Like I grew up in a household with my mom and grandmother that tried to give me everything. And so I don't think I was really balanced out, you know. Um, I was not selfish. I was just wasn't used to people telling me no. And so I remember my friend, the police officer I'm telling you all about now, he said to me one time, it's like, Tamara, you're a good person and all of that. We've been friends for a long time and stuff, but you got an issue with people telling you no. And that's a problem. Like you don't like being told no. I didn't think about it like that because I kind of felt like when people told me no, they was doing me wrong. Like, dog, I do whatever I can for people and they telling me no. And he said, you got to think about you ain't that important to other people. Your mama and grandmama, you important to them. You're not that important to other people. So I think when I turned around 40 years old, I started to realize that, well, you know what? I mean, I ain't that important for me to be, feeling a certain way when somebody that ain't, they, no, I don't want to do that. He says, these badass kids, yeah, they would have been baby kids. I'm telling you. It's a good thing. It's just that God had other plans for my life. I'm glad I had my kids when I had them. Um, I don't think I would have the patience. Like even when I deal with my grandbaby now, I think I can deal with her because I'm more mellowed out and I can love on her and buy her and spoil her. But then I send her home the next day. Okay. And I'm able to recuperate because that girl is bad. She told me she was ready to go home the other day. She was wanting to do something. She was wanting to do something. And I told her no. Oh, she said, I want to go outside, go walking. And I said, I said, no, we're not gonna do that because it was looking like it was about to rain. She said, I want mommy. I want to go home then. And I said, okay, I called her mama. She came right on and got her. I said, ain't that something? I called my mom. I said, don't you know the girl said she wanted to go walking? And because I told her we're not going walking today, she said, I want mommy. I want to go home then. Just grown. I mean, just these kids grow up so fast. I be thinking about my girls and I'm like, wow, like where did the time go? I was working so hard to like when my girls, I wanted to keep them in all activities. So I remember I had like a full-time job and I had like a part-time job. Um I never wanted to I never wanted to get too spoiled with and where I was dependent on whoever it was that I was dating. I never wanted that because I didn't want anybody to have control of me like that. So I always worked very hard. And then when I saw that my girls were having issues because I was working all the time, I would quit it, I would quit. And it would have been hard. I would call my dad crying and It always worked. He go, well, why those girls need you right now? You shouldn't do this, and I'll help you. My dad would always help me. And so I remember my dad was like, probably a few years ago, right before he died. And this just goes to show he never changed wallets. My dad made all that money and kept them raggedy wallets. And he said, my dad said, look at what I found. So my dad would give me money, and he had started saying, you need to pay me some of the money. So I would write him a post-dated check, y'all. And I remember I would write the post-dated checks, and I was like, Dad, don't cash it this week because I ain't got no money in there. My dad had so many post-dated checks for me that he never cashed. And he said, I was going through my wallet, and he said, I found this. He found post-dated checks that I used to write him. I guess I was supposed to pay him back. He never cashed them. He was helping me out, though. He was really good to me. He was helping me out. When I decided I'm not going to be working a full-time job and a part-time job because, I wanted my kids to be in all, there was majorettes and that stuff costs, right? So my dad started paying for it for me. I appreciated that too. So I wouldn't have to be working on no 2 jobs. He says, we love women, but we don't truly provide or get married unless submissive behavior is already present. I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean no harm. I think that is an insecurity for a man to want a submissive woman. Let me just say that, because what's a sickness? Cinematic Ken. What's a sickness? I think I think that's a bit of an insecurity, because why wouldn't you want to be with a woman that's they'll say, well, I want somebody to help me, that I know that's gonna have my back and this and that. What's wrong with a woman being strong and telling you, no, baby, I don't appreciate the way you made me feel. I don't appreciate you coming into this house at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not gonna be here if that happens. Instead, they want a woman that says nothing but put his meal on the table instead of throwing it in his face. Fear is a sickness. Yeah, it could be. Um, it could be. So, I was thinking about that. I hear a lot of men say that they want a submissive woman and they want her to be able to do this, and that, but they want her to pay. They want her to pay. Hey, Diane. But they want her to pay like half of the bills, right? You want a submissive woman, but you want her to pay half of the bills. Okay. You want to be the head of the household, but you want her to pay half of the bills. To me, I mean, that don't even add up at all. Right? That just, it don't. You want to be the head, but you want her to be equal in everything. Shit. You want to run it. Most men were heads of the household back in the day because they ran everything. They paid everything. Okay. It's funny that, and I'm not talking about you men in the chat. So don't be getting don't be getting all up in arms and all of that. Don't be getting sensitive. But you got some men now that talk about that they can't even work a job and pay for anything, right? But back in the day, men were being underpaid and they had 2-3 families and none of the women worked. Okay. And they took care of their kids. I don't recommend that. I'm just saying. Okay. I don't recommend it. But I'm just saying, no man that is not submitted to God. I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say this. I ain't submitting to no man that is not first submitted to God and that ain't taking care of that whole household. I can't submit to him. You got women talking, I'm submissive to my husband. That bitch don't even get up and go to work. The man, he wants the woman to take care of him. I don't respect no man like that. Any man, you have men that lose their jobs and they be about to lose their minds, not because they don't have a good wife that can carry it, but because a man's nature, a true man's nature that ain't got no bitch in him, is I got to take care of my family. He don't even know how to function right. He got a woman, baby. It's okay. We got this. No, baby, I'm the head of I'm take care of my family. Instead, you got these jokers out here now. They'll lie on a woman in a minute now. Because I've had one on here to lie on me, ain't never laid no eyes on me. Okay. And y'all know what my type of personality. If I get on here and I tell y'all the truth about me and Mr. Parker is actually a man that was in my presence. And he ain't gonna tell you that I was no sugar mama. He ain't gonna lie like that. Okay. But you have men that look for women to provide from them, to provide for them. Okay. And a lot of women put all their pressure up on themselves. They have to worry about the bills. They have to worry about this. They have to worry about that. They take care of the kids. They make sure the house is right. They put all that stress. That's why a lot of women having nervous breakdowns. They letting these jokers overstress their brain. Well, I was told that what a good woman's supposed to be. That's why they want a weak vessel like that. I don't rock like that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And I'm gonna tell you who taught me not to rock like that. My daddy. My mama and daddy weren't together. Okay. But my daddy has always been a man. At any time I think about my grandfather that passed away in 2004. That's right. I'm not gonna have no man come and stay with me. I live good. And he think, first of all, that's a red sign if he got to move in, a red flag if he got to move in with me anyways. That's a red flag if he needs to move in with you. I mean, when you start thinking coherently, you get to think about that was a red flag anyways. We make mistakes sometimes because most men have their own shit. But I ain't gonna pay no almost $1,600 and let a joker move up in here with me and pay half. He gonna live good over here. I don't need him, and not unless he gonna pay all of it. Cause I can pay it all. I've been doing it, and he sure ain't gonna move up in. He ain't gonna move up in here and pay nothing. But I don't need no roommate. You can't come. You can't come into my life and pay half. I pay all of my shit. So if you paying half, I don't want you. You got to be doing something that I don't want you. I've just decided that. I've decided that. Because a lot of these men be trying to get over. And I'm not trying to talk bad about men. I think the good men, because you hear Neo in here all the time talk about how hard he worked. It's a lot of good men that come up into my chat. They get out and work and they take care of their families. They're not looking to try to get over on no damn woman. He said, good morning. What's going on in the state house down here? Taking away rights. They definitely trying to take away rights. They're trying to do us dirty. Okay. So now this is where we get to see whether we got weak representatives or not. Now, Tennessee has always been a red state, a Republican state, but Memphis is a black city and county. So it has always been blue. And they trying to make that red. They want to try to make the whole state of Tennessee a red state. I don't know. I just think because I mean the men have stuck to that. I want a submissive woman. A wife is supposed to be submissive, but they want to throw out that the man is the head of the household and supposed to take care of that whole household. They want to manipulate women. See, they want to keep what women are supposed to be submissive. I ain't talking about you, Neo. I'm just saying in general. A woman is supposed to be submissive, but they want to omit that he's supposed to pay all them damn bills in that house, though. They want to make women feel bad about that. Well, you a gold digger. Man, look, go on. Leave me alone. Just going on with your life. I be so peaceful. I be so peaceful. I do my own thing. I'm just so happy I'm back in school, getting myself together. I don't have to be worried about no ninja getting on my nerves. Do my own thing. I got some peace. And I be wanting some companionship sometimes, like, dog, I would like to have sex sometimes. But it's not gonna be with the wrong. I just don't. It's got to be. That'll happen. Like when Parker came into my life last year, he broke my celibacy. I have been celibate for 2 years, and it wasn't worth my damn time. I don't mean no harm, but it would. Okay. So this next time that it happens, because it's been, well, okay. I don't even talk about it because I did start back dealing with one of my exes. Okay. And I stopped dealing with him too because I was like, I don't want him either. Because why would, I don't want that spirit back in my life either. So I sent him on. I just be wanting my peace. And I don't want to be dealing with nobody that I know I'm not going to be with. Therefore, when the man that is for me comes into my life, I don't have no different bad energies around me. I don't want him to have to deal with nothing that is unnecessary. And I want it to be the same way with me. I don't want a man that God sends into my life dealing with no unnecessary crap. It takes teamwork to make the dream work, and without that, nothing works. I'm glad that I'm out of the game. I would never pay for a temporary conditional because that's exactly what a man gets. I'm at peace now. I don't care if I don't ever have a FWB girlfriend or get married. My life works. You know what? I think it's a lot of people that a lot of men and women that carry issues from stuff from things of the past. You know, I I think people need to. It's good to be by yourself to get yourself right. So that you don't just carry drama into somebody else's life. Everybody looking for somebody to fix them, and that's just not a good thing. I think people need to get themselves right. People need to get themselves right. Um, and stop looking to, for somebody. Somebody make me whole. If somebody say that, you better run. That means that they ain't nothing but a half of a person. They broken. I can't let you put that pressure on me. You looking for me to make your life whole. Your life's supposed to already be whole when somebody come into your life. or else you're gonna break them down. Red Clay says, "Good morning, beautiful. I seen you on Oxygen last night. I was so happy. Oh my God. Thank you, Red Clay." She said, "Good morning, beautiful. I seen you on Oxygen last night. I was so happy." I said, "Look at Miss Professional T. Thank you." When my cousin girlfriend was like, "I'm looking at Oxygen. I see you on Oxygen." Y'all, the name of the show is A Time to Kill. And it aired on Oxygen last night. It aired on Oxygen last night. And it's funny because, like I said, they had told us that it was going to air sometime around April or May. And I got curious 2 weeks ago and reached out to the producer to see when was the show going to air over at Oxygen. Thank you, Miss Red Clay. And I reached out to the producer, and that's when she told me, she's like, "We on our way back to Memphis to do another cold case, and I want to reach out to you then to I would like for you to be a part of that." I was like, "Okay, y'all ain't paid me my money for the first time though." So anyway, I'm supposed to be getting my check, child. I don't know if they was trying to get over on me, because we did that show. Diane, when did we go over there to that mansion? It was at a big mansion in Midtown, and we ended up being there. I was only supposed to be there for 2 hours, and we ended up being there from like 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock all the way to 1 o'clock in the morning, because we was constantly doing different scenes. I was like, "Well, let me get a scene of you sitting over here looking at the financial records. Well, go over here. Let me get a scene of you doing this. And let me get a scene of you doing that." I was like, "Oh," because it was like, we had a FBI agent, and he didn't remember nothing about the case, and it was just horrible. So we need to get you to do this. So I actually have fun though. We was there for so long. They went and got us dinner and all of that. It was really nice. We were so tired though. We were so tired. And she had said though, the producer had said though, she was like, we're going down to Texas, I believe around Houston, and we got a cold case. I may want to use you for that one. And but they didn't, but they're coming back to Memphis. So she did say she wanted to use me for, but when we do these shows, because they do the shows in the off season, and then I guess like whatever cold case they're gonna have me in this time, it'll air probably next year, just like that show did. I'm telling you, I had people from Chicago. Demont reached out to me. She was like, "I was getting ready for work, Tamara, and I'm looking at Oxygen TV, and I saw you." I was like, "That's Tamara." And my cousin, like I said, my cousin was laying. He said I was laying on the couch. He lived in California. He said I had my eyes closed, about to go to sleep, and I heard your voice. And I was like, he said I opened my eyes. I was like, "That's my motherfucking cousin. I know that's her voice." So it's not really, because I'll throw his motherfucking out of my shit. So please mess over me and you back in mama basement. Anyway, y'all, I got a doctor's appointment. I want to get on and touch bases with you all. I'm gonna drop 2 videos today. Yeah, I'm gonna drop two videos today. Please stop. Y'all quit. I'm gonna drop 2 videos. I need to go jump in the shower and stuff so I can get on to my doctor's appointment. But anyways, you guys, I enjoyed being on here with y'all. Make sure y'all go and look at Oxygen Network. The name of the show is A Time to Kill. I was featured in that show. They real bad. um, they like to be up on them dogs like to be up under me all the time. They get mad because they want to be up under me. Okay, yeah. When I come back on, I'm going to because I think my cousin girlfriend took like a hold on, let me see. I'm gonna see if I can let me see something. She either sent it to me on my phone or on let me see something. Look, now y'all quit. Folks be talking about y'all ain't got no home training and stuff. Hold on, you all. Hold on, y'all. Stop. Hold on, you all. I don't know. I was trying to get it. That was my face right there. I don't know why it's stuck. It keeps getting stuck. Okay, anyways, y'all listen. I am gonna come back. I got to get ready. I got a doctor's appointment. I got to be there at 11. We'll fix this, but I want you guys. She got a little snippet of it. That's what I was trying to show you all. I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna come back on. I just got to go to the doctor. A plan to kill and oxygen. He said a plan to kill. A plan to kill, you guys. Listen, you all. I love you all. I'll be back on y'all. He's giving you all the episode. He said a plan to kill and Oxygen True Crime Series Season 2, Episode 10, titled A Plot Starring Miss T. Thank you, darling, for finding it. Listen, you guys, I love you all. I will be back on later tonight. I got to go to the doctor's office. I'll talk to you later.